Clara was the kindest person in the city of Oak Haven. At least, that's what everyone said. She was a 28-year-old marketing assistant who lived a life of constant exhaustion. Her problem wasn't her job, it was her inability to say one simple two-letter word: no. Every morning, Clara arrived at the office 30 minutes early to finish the reports that her coworkers were too lazy to do. When her boss, Mr. Henderson, asked her to stay late on a Friday night, she would smile weakly and say, "Of course, I don't mind." But deep inside, she resented it. She felt like a doormat that everyone used to clean their shoes. Her social life was even worse. Her best friend, Megan, always borrowed money and never paid it back. Her mother called her every evening to complain about her neighbors for 2 hours, and Clara just listened, losing her precious sleep. Clara was overwhelmed, but she was terrified of confrontation. She thought that if she said no, people would stop liking her. She was a prisoner of her own politeness. One rainy Monday, Clara looked at her reflection in the office bathroom mirror. She saw dark circles under her eyes and a face that looked 10 years older. She realized she was suffering from severe burnout. She wasn't living her life, she was living everyone else's life. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a message from her sister asking Clara to watch her 3 energetic dogs for the weekend, the same weekend Clara had planned to finally rest. Her heart started to race. Her hands shook as she looked at the screen. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered. She decided to conduct a radical experiment. For the next 24 hours, she would not be the nice Clara. She would protect her time and her energy. She made a silent vow. For one full day, if something didn't make her happy or wasn't her responsibility, the answer would be a firm, clear no. She walked back to her desk, her heart pounding like a drum. The experiment was about to begin, and the first person walking toward her was Mr. Henderson, holding a giant pile of papers. Clara's heart was drumming against her ribs as Mr. Henderson reached her desk. He dropped a thick blue folder in front of her. "Clara, I need you to reorganize these files by 5 p.m. I know it's a lot, but you're the only one I can trust," he said, not even looking at her. Usually, Clara would apologize for being slow and start working immediately. She looked at the folder. Then she looked at Mr. Henderson. Her voice was small, but it didn't shake. "No, Mr. Henderson, I can't do that today." The office went silent. Her coworker Steve stopped typing. Mr. Henderson froze, his hand still on the folder. "Excuse me?" he asked, his eyebrows rising. "I have my own reports to finish, and this is not my responsibility. I am already overworked, and I need to leave at 5 p.m. today. Perhaps Steve can help you." Mr. Henderson looked at Steve, then back at Clara. He looked confused, like a man seeing a ghost, but he didn't scream. He simply picked up the folder and walked toward Steve. Clara felt a sudden rush of adrenaline. She hadn't lost her job, she had gained her time. But the day was just beginning. At lunch, Megan called. "Clara, I'm at the mall and I forgot my wallet. Can you Venmo me $50? I'll pay you back on Friday, I promise." In the past, Clara would have sent the money and skipped her own lunch to save. But today was different. "No, Megan, I can't lend you any more money until you pay back the $200 you already owe me." "But Clara, we are friends," Megan cried over the phone. "Real friends respect boundaries, Megan. Goodbye," Clara said, and hung up. She felt a strange mixture of guilt and liberty. She realized that saying no was like a muscle. The more she used it, the stronger she felt. By 4:30 p.m., her coworkers were whispering. They didn't think she was mean. They looked at her with a new kind of admiration.
They realized that Clara was no longer a doormat. She was a woman who knew her own value. However, the biggest test was waiting for her at home. Her phone rang again. It was her mother. "Clara, dear, I need you to come over tonight and help me move the furniture in the living room. I'm bored of the layout." This was the moment of truth. Her mother was the person Clara feared disappointing the most. Her hand hovered over the end call button, but she took a deep breath instead.
Clara stood in front of her mother's apartment door. Her phone was still in her hand. Her mother's voice was waiting for an answer. "Clara, are you there? I need the sofa moved to the other side of the room. It will only take 2 hours." Clara took a deep breath. She remembered the exhaustion she felt every night. She remembered the dark circles under her eyes. "No, Mom," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I am not coming over tonight. I had a very long day at work, and I am going home to take a bath and sleep. I can help you on Saturday for 1 hour, but not tonight." There was a long silence on the other end. But I'm your mother." "I know, Mom, and I love you, but I also need to love myself. I need to set a boundary. I will see you on Saturday. Good night." She hung up. For the first time in her life, Clara didn't feel like a bad daughter. She felt like an adult. She felt independent. When she arrived at her own apartment, the silence was beautiful. She didn't check her emails. She didn't look at social media. She cooked a simple dinner and actually tasted the food. She realized that by saying no to others, she was finally saying yes to herself. The next morning, Clara walked into the office. She expected people to be angry. She expected Mr. Henderson to fire her. But something strange happened. When she passed Steve's desk, he nodded at her with respect. When Mr. Henderson saw her, he didn't give her extra work. He simply said, "Good morning, Clara. Let me know when you finish your own reports." Clara realized a powerful truth. People treat you the way you teach them to treat you. If you act like a doormat, they will step on you. If you act like a person with value, they will respect your limits. Her 24-hour experiment was over, but Clara knew she would never go back to her old self. She wasn't the invisible girl anymore. She was a woman who owned her time. She still helped people, but only when she wanted to, not because she was afraid. She had found the most important tool for a happy life, the courage to be unpopular for the sake of her own mental health. She was finally free. Final message: your yes has no value if you cannot say no. Being kind does not mean being a slave to everyone else's needs. You are responsible for your own happiness and your own energy. Stop apologizing for having limits. Set your boundaries today.